You're listening to the LouddMouth Radio Network. It's so easy to fold and to buckle under pressure. It's not unusual. It's more common than most people think. The other side of it, though, is how common is it to stay steady? Endure whatever it is that you're facing, straighten up your back, and look forward to where you're going, regardless of what's being thrown at you. The real truth is that everyone has something that challenges them. The deal is, how do you respond to the challenges, right? I can remember as a kid hearing, some of my elders talking, and I remember that phrase, you got to stay steady, stay steady. And, as a kid, you don't really think about what that means, what the chronological aspect of statements mean as it pertains to people's, life and how that could be a point of motivation or a point of understanding or recognition to one another to say, look, I know it's hard. I know it's challenging and maybe even at a point where it almost may seem impossible, but stay steady. And it's one of those things that it could kind of transcend across all things and anything, because it is just that, staying steady. It doesn't mean that you might not falter. It doesn't mean that you may not waver. But it does mean that regardless of what things look like, or even sometimes you can't even see when you're in the midst of things, staying steady helps you to balance the obstacles and being able to better recognize your achievements or the things that you may be overcoming. But you just got to maintain whatever it is in front of you, because that's the key. That's what that phrase means, staying steady. Y'all, it's Monday. You know what time it is. Sunday's Money Motivation. Let's go. You Need Tent 2, located at 3118 Emory Street Northwest in Unit B in Covington, Georgia, is dedicated to delivering high-quality tent workmanship and excellent customer service. You Need Tent 2 has a variety of tent shade options and films ready to be installed with a lifetime manufacturer's warranty. So stop by today. You Need Tent 2 is the go-to destination for professional window and tenting services. Don't forget to visit us online at youneedtent2.com. And don't forget to tell them that LouddMouth Radio sent you. No matter the time or the season, we're open and available 24/7. Shouldn't your dealership be too? Carumba.com, the convenient online used vehicle marketplace. Register your independent dealership now. It's already May, and guys, I'm going to just tell you from my own lens, it has been a steady graduation of change, of real life obstacles, real life challenges, and it probably plays out well week to week as you hear my content coming forth, that I'm speaking from my own circumference a lot of times, and I'm also influentially recognizing things around me that are happening. And it allows me to be able to think like, wow, I might not be the only one experiencing this, or I witness or hear about something and I'm like, man, that's something that I might not be dealing with at this moment, but maybe talking about this could feed somebody else's soul and give them some ease, and to know that they're not walking a path that may seem so much just their own, and that maybe people wouldn't be able to relate to it. But in reality, there is so many things that we are all working towards that nobody's issues look alike. I do believe, though, that we can get something from each other's moments, and sometimes each other's struggles, and sometimes each other's conflicts and things that are drawing us to make us go within and find out more about ourselves. I think ultimately that life has that way of tricking you to believe that you may not be prepared for certain things. But it's only when you get in it will you ever really have an answer to that. You'll never know unless you step out or unless you leap or allow yourself to partake in a journey that you may not know the step-to-step moment. The reality is, though, that even with all of these different variation of things that could possibly be, the only one thing that you can kind of really have a hold of or have a system of understanding is yourself. And even in that, I will tell you this, that a lot of times the things that's going on with you during times of challenges and stuff like that, even the person that you know yourself to be ultimately goes through transitions. And either you're going to remain the same and only you know what that looks like for you. You may remain the same and not get the lesson or might not step up to the challenge. And you may just keep going on the same journey because you're not adjusting. Then you may fall short. You may not be able to stay within the fight of whatever it is that you're dealing with, and you just succumb to it. And so, again, that's another type of lesson. That's a different type of experience. But then there are those that are like literally biting and gritting, that's grinding to get through it. And they might be the strong grip on the circumstance to the point that you can only utilize yourself moment to moment to get through it. And in that kind of stance is where that staying steady aspect correlates. So, you may have something that you are ultimately aiming for. And so from the moment of the point of your desire to the end result of what it is that you're hoping to get to, there's a lot in between that. And in between that, there's a lot of unknown. And it doesn't say that it's a certain amount of time or a certain amount of measurement that has to take place. Because, a lot of times we might get things quicker or sooner than later, especially if it's been something we've had, unfortunately, to repeat. Maybe we've made a decision about something before and this is familiar. And, maybe you didn't get it the first time, but maybe the second time or the third time it comes around, that muscle memory of the last incident or the last two times kicks in. And you say, okay, maybe the first two times I didn't get this right. So this time I got to really make a turn and transition away from what I've been doing in this situation that has not been serving me. So I think just the idea sometimes that if I could just stay steady in this moment, it takes some of the pressure off. It can also be a little bit of an inspiration to self to say that, I might not have it all figured out. I might be in a pile of shit right now. Or even that you may be somewhere that's unfamiliar and you don't really know how to deal with it. But the only thing you do know is I'm going to just stay steady. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to retreat. I'm not going to turn back. I'm not going to sit still, but I am going to craft my steps carefully and diligently to where it will allow me to work through this situation. And as you go through that situation, take note of where you are and how you process things. See how you tinker to get to the point of understanding, because I do believe that things that we're dealing with a lot of time are patternized to our decisions and the way that we've allowed ourselves to be occupied in our life. It may not deal with another person. It could just be your own aspect. Sometimes we have traumas or things of that nature that impact us, and it creates a certain type of element within us that changes our dynamics. And so maybe the way we used to be is not there anymore. Maybe some things that used to be important to you are not there anymore. Or maybe there's something that is an addition to where you've been and it's causing you a different kind of challenge. It's maybe an addition to what you already have on your plate, and it can make you feel overwhelmed in the process. And then it may also make you feel challenged to say, maybe this was too much for me to take on. Because it feels uncomfortable or feels heavy or it feels, so much of a challenge that you don't feel like you're really gaining anywhere or you're not achieving what you wanted to out of it. But only you can really and truly know what that looks like. I know that a lot of times people may grab on to different things. I've not been shy about speaking about the zodiac or astrology or cardology or, people that have tarot cards. And, some people don't believe in that. Some people don't believe in prayer. Some people don't believe in meditation. Some people don't believe in chanting. There's so many different things that people do that works for them and helps them to get through. And I say this to you, that sometimes it's not always for you to share how you process things or how you get to the point of how you figure out things for yourself. And that's okay. It's not to be, there's not the set of rules that say that you have to follow this way because my parents did it or my sibling did it or my best friend did it or my peers did it or my coworker did it or my children is doing it. It is, it's very clear. Every individual person has their own path of evolution. So only you know what level of resistance you can handle, what level of pressure is too much for you. What may be insurmountable for me may not be for you, and vice versa. I believe that a lot of times we can get caught up in what the people's opinions and thoughts are. And then we might try to navigate our way because my mom said it's for me to do this, or my kid told me that I should consider this, or maybe I'm not, considering all factors, or, maybe my best friend was encountered with this situation, or my cousin had this happen and maybe I should follow the same thing that they did. No, that's not necessarily true. I think this is the part where only that inner part of yourself, which can correlate from your own level of prayers or meditations or solitude, whatever allows you to be able to hear you and give yourself enough clarity to know how to deal, because only you will ultimately deal most times. Even when and if you don't understand what I'm saying, get in trouble. Even if you get in trouble with other people, each individual person is going to have a name attached to a case number and attached to a situation. So, I'm not saying that you're going to trial and you're going to jail, but what I am saying is that ultimately you have to make sure you check in with yourself. And checking in with yourself helps you to be able to see where you're balancing your life at. And I think that staying steady is a great phrase. Sometimes, you have people that ask you how you're feeling, how you're doing, or, what's been going on with you. And, a lot of times we'll have these triggered automatic responses. Oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm not doing so well. The world is this. Oh, I'm fine. And really and truly, is it really that? Or is it just that maybe I'm in the middle? I don't necessarily know where I am per se, but I'm staying steady. And that kind of signifies that, I'm dealing with some things, but I'm staying in the motion. I'm not retreating from whatever I got to get through. But I am taking it, moment to moment and step by step. And I think that for anybody that is experiencing those types of transitions in your life, career, relationships, any of those dynamics, just stay steady. And I think it's important to stay true to what you feel for you, even if it does not necessarily work to what somebody else agrees with. Because that's the thing. You're going to come to a point in your life that not everything you're doing is going to be agreeable with somebody else. And, it may be for you to take a journey that other people may not understand. Because the truth of the matter is, all of us have fears, all of us have goals, all of us have things that challenge us. And because of that, your response to it is your response. And even if you explain it to other people, it's still not for them to figure it out. I remember discovering that I actually was having some levels of anxiety, and it was drawn on from some various things that had been building up and going on. And the truth of the matter is that I was getting to a point where I was not wanting to deal with something in a certain kind of capacity. And I allowed it to build up to a point that I was starting to have an emotional response to it, physically, emotionally, mentally. And, and that bottom line is somewhere that I had to work through. And first identify that I had allowed it to make me feel that kind of way. So in the midst of these discoveries and these growth methods, it's allowing you to become a stronger person. And it's okay to not necessarily feel comfortable about everything. You're not a robot. You're not emotionalist. You're not a person that does not have to, be responsible for yourself. You have all rights to feel how you feel. And it is important for you to know that no matter what, at the end of the day, you have to live with you. And I don't mean just in the physical. I mean within the chamber of your body, within your soul, within your mind, within your heart. And so if you can get to your point of aligning these things, it's so funny. I'm sitting up here looking at a Buddha right now. And what's amazing about most Buddhas, you'll see that there's this marking in the middle of the forehead. And it's for symbolism to center. So when you can align and, you may have heard about chakras. All of that's about alignment. And when the parts of your body is out of balance, you feel it. You feel it in your emotions. You feel it in your health. You feel it in your mental, even your aura. The things, your chi, that whole aura of energy of you is felt. So it's most important, and I'm going to wrap this. The most important thing is finding ways to make it easy for you to endure. And for the most part, the reason why I made this statement and made this show topic today is for you to understand that whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever you might be challenged with or going up and going through or going around, it doesn't matter. Just stay steady. Especially, it's Monday. What better way to say stay steady and get yourself through the day and have a powerful week? I appreciate you guys' time. Let's make it a great week. Talk to you guys soon. You're listening to the LouddMouth Radio Network. This episode is sponsored by LouddMouth.com, the #1 small business online network. We're putting the word out about small business. Put your business on the referral network online that wants to put the word out about you. 30.7 million small businesses in the U.S., creating 1.5 million jobs annually. Small business accounts for 64% of new job creation in the U.S. There's strength in numbers. No matter what we face, know that there's strength in us. Because of you, we're able, we're capable, we're resilient, and we are available because we are small business. And together, we're the economy. You're listening to the LouddMouth Radio Network.